Bismillah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Dear brothers and sisters, continuing again with our journey with the Quran. Chapter 35, Fatir, the creator, the one who make things from nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the middle of the chapter and in verse number 19, 20, 21, Allah give us comparison between guidance and misguidance, righteousness and going in the wrong path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us these understanding so we can differentiate and understand that not everybody is the same. They come and tell you, all the religions are the same. No, they're not the same. There is only one religion. Everything else is man-made. Everything else has been fabricated through the years, through the history. They will come and tell you that Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are the same or preaching the same thing. Unfortunately, that's wrong because only true Islam, authentic Islam is the truth. La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, that's it. There is nothing at this time and age other than this book, the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making that comparison here to tell us that the truth have came. The truth is the Quran. The truth is the Islam. وَمَا يَسْتَوِي الْأَعْمَى وَالْبَصِيرُ. Indeed, the one who is able to see, the one who is able to recognize the truth, the one who is able to be on the straight path is totally different, is not equal to the one who is blind, the one who can see. Allah is trying to tell us that the one who cannot see the truth, remember that this is the most important one in the five senses you have, is the able to see. Because seeing is enjoyment. Seeing brings knowledge. You can read. You can enjoy things. You can go and look at the nature. You can go and look at the movie. You can look without the eyes. It's a huge deficiency. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot of times bring that. Be able to see the truth. Because the light, when you have light on things, then you be able to understand these things. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that there is enjoyment with the belief. Because when you see things, imagine somebody who can see black and white, somebody can see with colors. Big difference. This guy can enjoy the differences between the birds, the differences in the gardens, in the colors of the flowers, in the different colors. That's the same thing when you see the truth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is totally different than those who cannot see anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring after this darkness. What happened in darkness? Most of the time, people stumble. People can fall. People can commit mistakes and do mistakes. Imagine you are on the highway and you're driving and you don't have light. Darkness. No, your car is not emitting any light. You can see in front of you. You cannot see. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is all the time accidents. That's why people who are not on the right path, people are not on the guidance of the Quran, people are not the guidance of Sayyidina Muhammad, our Prophet Muhammad BP, and all these messengers, what's going to happen? They will make accidents all the time. They will make problems. They will have, their life won't be full of peace. The life won't be full of light. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, darkness. Because darkness will be full of what? This will be full of problems, accidents. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says after, وَلَا الظُّلُمَاتِ وَلَا النُّورِ. Light. When light comes, everything becomes clear. You can see. You'll be able to do things. You'll be able to change things. You're able to have conviction, understanding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He then said, وَلَا الظِّلُّ وَلَا الْحَرُورُ. وَالظِّلُّ وَلَا الْحَرُورُ. And then He goes into something which is, have cover an area. الظِّلُّ means the shadow. The shadow, when it covers you, give you what? Comfort. The iman, they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the message of Muhammad alayhi salam will give the believer comfort. Why? Because you know the reality, you know the present, you knew the past, and you know the future. You know that this is just the starting, this is just the beginning, the life on this earth. This is the initial stage. After this, there is grave, there is resurrection, there is judgment. There is so many stages coming. That's give you the truth, the comfort that you understand. Also, this is you'll be under the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You'll be under the umbrella, the dominion of Allah. Allah will take care of you when you become a believer. Allah will put in your way those who will guide you. Allah will put in your way those who will take your hand to the truth. That's umbrella of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the umbrella of guidance. When you have no harm will afflict a believer because he's under the dhill, under the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wala al-harur. Then Allah bring the harur. Imagine how we complain a lot of times about the heat, how we complain about the harmful effects, about the direct sunlight, direct heat, sweating, everything, even smelling bad, smelly from that sweat. Why? Again, and the shadow, you people going to the shadow to avoid all of these things because the heat and being in the heat is have harmful effects. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing this all to let you know that there is only one truth. Being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, understanding what Allah wants from you, performing what Allah wants from you, so you will be successful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end, He told you, He put these two groups in, those who are living and those who are dead. As if those people who can see the truth, those people who can see the light, those people who can be under the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are living. The rest is dead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in a different ayah, that the hearts are the one who can be blind. You can be living, you can be walking, you're still blind because you cannot see the truth. You cannot see the light of La ilaha illallah, the light of only one God worthy of worship. There is no Jesus. There is no any prophet. There is no any messenger who is worthy to be worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who sent all these messengers, all these prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, talking to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, and He's telling you, Inna Allah yusmi'u man yasha. Indeed, Allah will make those who Allah wills hear that message. What that mean? That means that those people who will strive, those people who want to know the truth, those people who will sacrifice, those people who are seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah to guide them. Allah will guide them. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make those who have the receptors, the clean heart, the merciful heart, the heart which cares, the heart who want to look for the truth, will be guided. Those whose heart is full of arrogance, full of ego, full of rejection, will be misled, will go to the wrong path. وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُسْمِعٍ مَنْ فِي الْقُبُورِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have make an analogy. Those who do not hear the truth, the Islam, the message of surrender, the message of submission, as if they're dead and they live in the graves. You're not gonna go. You go in a grave and you try to make that person who actually buried 2 or 3 foot, or how many foot? 12 foot underneath. You try to let him hear the message. You try to call upon him. You're never gonna hear. That is exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That those cannot able to hear that message because of the diseases in their heart, what's gonna happen? They're dead. He's telling Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he's telling to everybody who work in the calling, conveying that message, that your job is only to convey it, to tell the people about the truth. The guidance is upon the person, is upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah knows what's in the person's heart. Some people want to be a scholar in Islam, or a scholar in the religion, or a pastor, or a priest, or a rabbi, because of money, power. He doesn't even, he's so totally detached of the spirituality, of the truth, of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Allah will hold him, will make him stray. Those who even doesn't have nothing, no money, no power, nothing, and he is seeking Allah's pleasure, Allah will guide them. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم.